questions?
Nope.
Steve?
No, but just to recap now, so the school department is approximately $300,000
That's what I was told this evening.
$300,000 short. And that's, we have, obviously, a little bit of wiggle room with some help from our
Health
collective
insurance.
bargaining
Yes, right.
units in relation to health insurance. Is there any other sources that we're contemplating tapping into in order to?
I think we should hear from Greg on his proposals on the adjustments to our budget.
Okay, but as far as, do we have any other sources of revenue that we're going to be contemplating looking at, or adjustments to surpluses or
Actually,
reserve accounts that we?
Actually, we've gone the other way on local aid. There's about $100,000 adjustment down based on what we're budgeting, which Greg has other revenue to cover. And what was it, investment income was $50,000, Greg?
$52,000 drop. Motor vehicle excise, $100,000 drop.
Drop?
And that number has not been rolled into the split.
Excise down, I'm sorry, how much? Excise was how much?
$100,000,
And the other was what?
$52,000
From?
for investment income.
Okay, thank you.
So Greg, you want to go through your
Yeah.
proposal?
The municipal budget is, the balanced budget is $11,725,820. And although, as the chairman mentioned, that number is bounced around a little bit because of the changes in state aid and the resulting reductions in local receipts, again, related to the motor vehicle excise and the investment income, it's pretty much where we've been from the very start of the municipal budget process. Level dollar funding, not level services. The level dollar funding includes any step increases that are due to departments. So the department had step increases, they needed to make an adjustment in terms of how to pay for that. And needless to say, that involves some serious discussions on the department head level in terms of how they would do that. So the budget is pretty conservative from where we started out. And as a result of the most recent state aid numbers, I went back and I looked at the budget, and there were some revisions, as the chairman noted. The revenue sheet has been revised in accordance with the House budget, and that's what came out last week. We talked a little bit about the adjustments to the motor vehicle excise tax, because it does not justify increasing it, so it basically being level funded from this fiscal year. Investment earnings are down because that's a trend, not for North Reading, but that's a trend across the entire nation. We do have an increase in cellular tower revenue. As you know, the board has approved a number of different agreements. We're able to realize $167,200 in cell tower revenue. That's an increase of about $47,000 over this fiscal year. All of the adjustments that we've made are based upon the House budget numbers that we have. So what I did was I went back and I looked at getting to the $11,725,000 number. What items would we consider as priorities? And I've identified a number of them, and if you'd allow me to go through them, most of them are relatively small in dollars, however, they do add up to $111,500. So stop me if you have any questions, but I'll try to get through these things that are shown on the cover sheet that I've given the board, beginning with number 3. That would be for the Board of Selectmen's recording secretary, $1,460. The board has been meeting more often, as you know, and as you meet more often, there's an expense of having someone present and producing and maintaining those minutes. Item number 4 deals with my increase, that's a contractual increase that's due on July 1 of 2010. The Finance Director has put in for an additional $13,000 in munis training. The reasoning behind that is the fact that the town has acquired the cash receipts module. And as part of the cash receipts module, there'll be some training, but they'll also be looking to set up a cash receipts chart of accounts. And so the estimated cost of setting up that chart of accounts is $10,000. The additional $3,000 would be allocated for training, again, related to cash receipts. As you know, we had a tragedy in our assessor's office. We lost our assessing manager. She did a wonderful job, and she did it working some fairly short hours. She was budgeted at 20 hours a week. We would like to find someone of that capacity and skill at 20 hours a week going forward. However, realistically, we have to assess what options are available. And so I'm proposing $15,000 be added to the budget for the purposes of hiring a full-time assessing manager. And so that's what that amount of money is for. Number 7 is a recommendation by the treasurer collector to fully fund the tax title and foreclosure expenses. That would be $8,655. Next recommendation is to increase the informational systems or the IT budget by $10,000 for ongoing personal computer replacement. You recall that when the IT director was in to meet with you several weeks ago, he had indicated that he wished to enter into a service contract. The board had indicated that that really was not a cost-effective solution. A cost-effective solution would be the budget amount in small capital on an annual basis for ongoing replacement of computer systems. Next would be the town clerk and an additional sum of money for the additional state elections. As you know, in next fiscal year, the town has 2 additional state elections, within the state primary and the state election. Cost of those is $23,216. By the way, we're still waiting for our reimbursement on the elections from December and January,
What are we owed on that, Greg?
about $18,000.
And the finance committee's been flagged on that in case that
We're
doesn't happen.
Anxiously awaiting that reimbursement. Next is for restoring the assistant building inspector position to 17 hours a week. Reason being is that there have been 68 building lots which have been approved by the Community Planning Commission for new dwellings, 27 lots on Marblehead Street, 10 lots on Charles Street Extension, and others scattered throughout the community. To date, in 2010, the building permits that have been issued are up about 49%. What I'd like to do is make sure that there's adequate staffing in that office, that when the building permits are pulled for these new building lots, that we have sufficient staffing, and that would take the position from 10 hours a week to 17 hours a week.
Question.
Joe?
Greg, does that make that a benefited position?
No.
No?
Greg, as a result of that showing some signs of recovery, have you gone back and looked at licenses and permits number? You comfortable that the number we have in there is?
For next fiscal year, I'm comfortable with it. When I look at the number of new homes to date, the new homes that have been pulled so far in 2010 is 4, and that was as of a couple of weeks ago. 2009 was 11, and 2008 was 5. So again, based upon the trend, I would expect that, given the fact we're only not even 4 months into the fiscal year, that we'll exceed 2008 certainly, but at least the 2009 levels for building permit new construction, because if people are pulling permits for decks and small things, it really doesn't necessitate us having an additional 7 hours be added to the budget. But I'm comfortable, based upon discussions with Mr. DeCola, that we will see an uptick in new home construction. Number 11 is a recommendation to fully fund the increases in mosquito spraying and larvicide treatments. There was some activity you may have detected last Thursday where they were doing some treatments via helicopter. Mr. Fair, when he was in and he met with the board, indicated that the cost of those services had increased slightly. The total cost is $3,545, and given the dampness and the wetness that we've encountered, I think it's money well spent. Next would be restoration of program services cuts for the Elder Affairs Department, $3,577. Represents cuts that the director had to make to accommodate step increases in the department. I think it's reasonable that that department, for the amount of money that's budgeted, does an excellent job. And I don't feel comfortable reducing services in the Elder Services Department while there are other departments where the level of services is maintained at an existing level. Number 13 is for the funding of the Youth Services Director. The amount requested additional is $12,277. You'll recall that in fiscal year 2009, $35,000 was budgeted for the position for 9 months. So we've got the $35,000 as a carry-forward number. The $12,277 represents the incremental cost of carrying the position for a full 12-month period. Next would be $6,933, which is an amount for the library to maintain state certification. You've heard Director Minton about the importance of that for the community. Similar to the Elder Services Program, I feel that it's money well spent to serve the needs of the community. Number 15 is $122,205, representing what I am projecting as additional municipal retirements for the upcoming fiscal year. The retirements budget, as you look at it, the original number that we had included an amount from the schools. However, this includes the amount from municipal retirees. And again, I'm estimating that there'll be 5 individuals that will be leaving service in fiscal year 2011, and this represents our portion of the buyback cost of those individual employees. And number 16 is notation on health insurance. The amount that I've got included in the budget, as the chair had mentioned earlier, was 11.1%. A 2% increase in health insurance, which there have been some discussions about, would result in a savings of $411,272. And additionally, if we were to go forward and town meeting were to approve Section 18, there'd be an additional $64,000 in savings achieved through that effort.
This is on 18.
Correct, not 18A.
Okay.
This would be through 18. So in terms of the municipal budget, we do have a number of positions that remain to be unfilled. We have 2 positions in the DPW, 2 positions in the police department. We have 3 positions in town hall, being a position in the information technology department, a position in the CPC, which relates to GIS, and a secretary in the veterans department, which has been eliminated. Additionally, as you know from speaking with the recreation department, there have been a number of positions which have been shifted over and funded through the Recreation Revolving Fund. And that includes positions in both the Recreation and Parks Department. So I'm not looking to address those vacancies as part of this budget proposal. This does provide us with what I feel to be a reasonable budget going forward. A couple of other comments as you go through here. If you want to look at the my recommendations, page 2 includes fixed cost appropriations. And you'll see again, this is the major portion of our budget. Those amounts which are known and will not increase. The regional school assessment is solid. It's been voted by the regional school committee. The debt service numbers are solid for both non-exempt, exempt, and short-term debt. The state and county charges really remain to be addressed until such time as the cherry sheet comes out along with the cherry sheet offsets. The abatements amount is an amount that we're carrying, which is subject to revision. The snow and ice